Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to part 2 of Black Sheep in JRPGs. That's right, I have today 10 more Black Sheep to talk to you about as promised on the first video. And as usual, no Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy games because I'm sure there are like 10,000 Black Sheep in those franchises. And as usual again, not only in Japan titles, only titles that were released outside of Japan. That clarified? Let's begin! Number 10. Lufia Curse of the Sinistrals. Many will say this Lufia 2 remake is actually the game that killed the franchise. And while it's arguably involved in the reason, I never thought it was that bad. Every single Lufia game prior to this title had been turn-based. Here, they changed it into an action RPG with puzzles, much like the E-series by Falcom. Not only that, they also changed the art style and character design, even the OST and parts of the original story. So in the end, they changed everything, and Lufia Curse of the Sinistrals literally became its own game. Square Enix helped develop this game along with the series' original creators Neverland. This hurt the franchise so badly that fans turned their backs on it and Lufia perished into oblivion. Anyway, like I said, not a bad game at all, but definitely the black sheep of the family. Number 9. Art Tonelico, Koga, Knell of RCL. So now that we're talking about turn-based RPGs being changed into action RPGs, here's the third and final Art Tonelico in the series. After this game, an exclusive to the PS3 by the way, a new series began called Arno Surge, and we haven't heard anything from it since 2014. Weird. Anyway, Art Tonelico began in the PS2 back in 2006, near the end of PlayStation 2's lifespan. 2 titles were released for the console and then a third one on the PS3 in 2010. Being a niche franchise from Ghost Company, it never really had too many fans, but boy were they pissed off when the whole battle system was drastically changed. Fan service was increased, maybe as to try to satisfy the fans from going into an outrage. Regardless, most of them didn't like the new battle system, now resembling a Tales-of game more than anything. So they trashed the game with harsh criticism. Me? I loved it! I wasn't upset about the changes and enjoyed the game for what it was. So I still recommend this Black Sheep, whether you have played the others or not. Number 8. Shadow Hearts from the New World. This niche and heavily underrated franchise began with a strategy RPG on the PS1 called Kudelka. Then it became a series of turn-based RPGs on the PS2 with their popular Judgment Ring. 2 extremely good and solid titles were released for that console that are, in my opinion, among the best RPGs ever on it. However, since the story kind of concluded in the second Shadow Hearts, developers didn't know what to do or exactly what they wanted to do with a third title. So Shadow Hearts 3, also known as From the New World, was a spin-off or a main title we never knew. Nevertheless, it was a complete disaster. The atmosphere of the game was far from being dark, serious, with bits of comedy and fan service here and there like the previous titles. It was now a complete joke of a story and cast of characters that mostly seemed to be there for comic relief. Fan service was overly present. But you know what? Nobody complained about that. Complaints were about the story and characters for the most part, since everything else was still fantastic, including the Judgment Ring and the battle system. After this game, the series died for a lot of reasons, Not directly related to the failure of this title, but still. In any case, I think it's far from being a bad game, still a solid RPG, but perhaps not as good as the others. Number 7. Lunar Dragon Song. Meet one of the worst RPGs of all time. Oh yeah, it's that bad. We've been talking about games that maybe don't deserve the title of Black Sheep because they're actually good. This, however, takes the damn cake to a whole new level. I can't believe this outrageous abomination shares the same name as those charming classics from the Sega CD and the PlayStation. This game not only killed the series, it also made a lot of people stay away from it. It's a turn-based RPG, alright, with a battle system that's traditional but poorly designed, considering you can't even choose the enemies you wish to attack. And the fact that you have to yell at the screen to issue certain commands or losing health while you run in any area quickly turns the gameplay into a tedious and convoluted experience. Add the fact that the story is extremely forgettable, as are its characters, and you get one of the worst black sheep in the entire industry of gaming. Number 6. Grandia Extreme. Let's talk about a spin-off now, a game that was exclusively designed for fans of the series that wanted to abuse the battle system. Developers turned this game into a dungeon crawler, very challenging, even adding the name Extreme on the title to let everyone know. But nope, a lot of people inside and outside Japan trashed this game. I'm pretty sure a lot of fans will say Grandia 3 is the real black sheep in the family, but I love that game, and it's as black as Extreme is, so I had to choose between the two. And the reason I picked this one is because a lot of people rage quit on it, not only for its highly repetitive mechanics, but also because of the amount of fighting to be done. Well, what did they expect? That was the whole point of the game! It wasn't supposed to be a main title in the series, just something for players who love the battle system so much they love to grind their asses on it. And people hated it for that? It's just stupid. In my opinion, if you play this game knowing exactly what to expect, you'll probably enjoy it and move on after you play it. Not a bad game at all, but well, it's the black sheep of the family. Number 5. Dragon Warrior 2. Here's a game I played for the first time in my life, just for the sake of this video. That's right, I had never played this game before, but I knew from your comments in the previous Black Sheep video, and also from the entire internet, that this was apparently the black sheep of the Dragon Quest series. With a franchise this big, this historically important, and this long, there sure are to be a bunch of games that are considered as black sheep. I chose this one because when I played it, I realized it was more challenging than the others, and I often got lost. I quit after a few hours because I couldn't believe how tedious it was. Is it bad? I don't think it is, but I can't exactly say for sure since I played it only for a small period of time. I know it's supposedly a very hard game, one of the hardest of its era, that gets brutal the more you advance. I can see why this will be considered as the black sheep of the family, even though the same can be said about other titles. However, its infamy brought it here, and therefore it stays on this list as a black sheep in JRPGs. Number 4. Revelations Persona. Keep in mind I'm talking about the original Persona on the PS1, not the remake on the PSP that did things better and made this game more enjoyable. Sure, a lot of fans absolutely love this game, but a lot of others surely don't. including me. Yeah, I can't stand this game at all. But at least it's nowhere near as bad as Lunar Dragon Song. The problem in this turn-based RPG is not the story, characters, or the overall idea behind it. No, that's actually awesome! The main issues are the interface and some of the gameplay mechanics. Navigating through these vomiting dungeons is horrendous. It gets very repetitive and tedious, mainly because of the sudden increase of the encounter rate in some areas. The map is a blasphemy for the PlayStation power. This game not only makes the console look weak, but also unappealing. I admire the effort behind the development of what later became an extremely popular series of JRPGs, but the beginning was harsh, boring, and uninviting. However, that is only my opinion, and I don't think this is a bad game at all. Nonetheless, it totally deserved the title of Black Sheep of the Persona series. Number 3. Breath of Fire Dragon Quarter. As one of the hardest RPGs on the PS2, Breath of Fire 5, also known as Dragon Quarter, stays on the list for two reasons. One, it's infamous for its difficulty and extremely tough learning curve. But the main motive it's in here, and so high on the list, is because it's not only vastly different from any other Breath of Fire game in the series, but also for being a main title that changed the name for bad. I could easily put this extremely infamous game for mobile phones that Capcom dared to call Breath of Fire 6, but I've never played it. This weird-ass experiment, however, is something I played and endured. I loved the premise, and I was starting to love the story and characters, but it quickly disappointed the heck out of me when I realized how stupid the gameplay mechanics were. You need to die in order to restart the game and make some progress. There are limited save tokens to save your adventure in the memory card. Turning into a dragon drains your health, power, and then you die. But once you finally get the gist of this outrageous oddity, you will maybe like it, maybe even love it. Yeah? Good luck with that! Number 2. Xenosaga Episode 2. It took me many years to realize the reasons behind the rejection of this title. It was the first Xeno game I played in my life. That's right, even before Xenogears. And you know what? I loved it! I never beat it because it was brutally hard, but only on a couple of boss battles, so I never got past one of them and abandoned it. But I still treasure my experience in it, and I'll definitely go back to it one day. The fact that it is considered as the black sheep of the trilogy, or maybe of the entire Xeno franchise, is because some things changed within its art and gameplay mechanics. Character design was made by different people from the original designers on the first episode. Also, the difficulty spikes I mentioned, specifically with certain bosses, killed the experience for many people. Other than that, I can see no other reason why this excellent game could be a black sheep. In my opinion, it's the least deserving title in this list for the turn, but I admit its own infamy brought it here with many reasons behind it. Number 1. Tales of Zestiria. In reality, the game that belongs in this list, the real black sheep of the family, believe it or not, is a game that was never released outside Japan. Tales of the Tempest on the Nintendo DS sits on the throne so embarrassingly that even the developers refuse to admit it exists, and after its failure, they started saying it wasn't a main title, but a bad spin-off. Trust me, I absolutely love that game, and to date, other than the fact that it's too short, I fail to understand the hatred towards it. But since we're talking about only North American releases on this list, let's move on to Tales of Zestiria. A lot of people hated this game for many different reasons. One, the Alicia controversy, when Namco made trailers about the game and showed her as the main heroine, only to be disappointed when people found out she leaves early in the game and barely comes back. Another reason is the battle system. It changed your usual hack and slash and action pace to a button mashing that required technique, timing, and strategy. And boy, a lot of patience. There were also fusions between the main characters and the others, which reduced your party to 2 characters in exchange for power. People also complain about the story and the main characters for being bland and hard to follow. Last but not least, the game pretended to be an open-world experience but failed to deliver one by mixing side quests with other boring features. Now, do I agree with all these statements? Not really. I never cared for the open-world mechanics, nor did I find the characters that bland. The story was decent, the battle system was hard to get into, but I eventually got the hang of it and enjoyed it. I think there isn't a single bad game in the entire franchise, not even Tempest, not even Zestiria. But hey, with a series this big and long, there had to be a bunch of black sheep, and I had to choose one. Zestiria is the most infamous of all, so the black sheep title was only fitting, although not for very good reasons in my opinion. So those are 10 more black sheep in JRPGs. Will I ever make a part 3? I don't know. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of other black sheep in the families of JRPGs that I can't wait to talk about. That's right. In any case, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. See you next time.